Guitar Hero. This is the series that has changed my life forever because of its inclusion of amazing music, the absolutely addictive gameplay, and its ability to bring people together unlike any game ever made. And while its impact on the industry now is not nearly as huge as it was nearly a decade ago, the Guitar Hero series is still one of the most important series of modern gaming. So to show my love for this legendary series, today I'm here to rank every single Guitar Hero game from worst to best. These games are ranked based off of their overall package, their music, gameplay, and cultural impact. The only games that will not be featured on this list are the terrible mobile versions and the arcade version of Guitar Hero 3. Also, Band Hero and DJ Hero 1 and 2 will not be eligible for this list. Now, while these are spin-offs of the Guitar Hero series, they're not called Guitar Hero, so they won't make this list. Although, if it does mean anything to you guys, Band Hero would absolutely, definitely be at the bottom of this list. So without further ado, this is every single Guitar Hero game from its very worst to its very best.
God, this thing sucks!
To start this list off, I present to you the worst Guitar Hero game, which is, at number 15, Guitar Hero Encore Rocks the 80s. God, what a freaking terrible name. It's not Rock the 80s, it's Rocks the 80s. Those are a lot of awkwardly placed S's. Damn. I'm just going to call it Rock the 80s. Rock the 80s is essentially a reskin of Guitar Hero 2 with rock songs, outfits, and guitars from the 80s. Out of all the sequels, spin-offs, and add-ons I've ever seen in the gaming industry, Rock the 80s honestly looks and feels like a mod, specifically a mod of Guitar Hero 2. And considering they sold this at full retail price back in 2007 for a game with even less songs than the game it's being spun off of, this was the first and unfortunately not the last time this series would be milked out of pure corporate greed. But regardless, it is the worst Guitar Hero. Number 14, Guitar Hero. And that's how you know that I'm not fucking around here. Now you may be thinking, George, why would the original Guitar Hero be so low on this list? Well, that's because by today's standards, it's unplayable. There's no calibration system on the game, meaning if you're using an HD TV, you won't even be able to play the game to the actual rhythm of the songs. Also, the original Guitar Hero doesn't contain proper hammer-ons or pull-offs, which makes solos more complicated than they should be. Basically, Guitar Hero 1 is a tech demo, a beautiful gameplay idea that would soon become polished to near perfection in future installments. Although the original Guitar Hero has changed the gaming industry as we know it, through the power of time, this game has become unplayable. Number 13, Guitar Hero Smash Hits. Like with Rock the 80s, Smash Hits should not be a standalone game. Smash Hits is a small compilation of the best songs that were featured in the original game, Guitar Hero 2, Rock the 80s, and Guitar Hero 3. These songs were updated so that they could be played with a full band, and these songs are their master recordings instead of the covers that most of these were in their previous Guitar Hero games. Smash Hits is a stripped-down version of World Tour with less songs and was sold for the exact same price. Paying full retail price for a game that should have been DLC is ridiculous, and that argument has never been more valid than it's ever been with Guitar Hero Smash Hits. Number 12, Guitar Hero On Tour Modern Hits. The third and final Guitar Hero game for the DS, Modern Hits is the same as the original Guitar Hero On Tour, except with songs released between 2000 and 2009. Some of these songs are good and the rest are trash. Out of the 3 DS games, Modern Hits is the worst one. Number 11, Guitar Hero On Tour Decades. The second Guitar Hero for the DS, Decades, is surprisingly almost identical to the first game, except the campaign has you play different songs from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and the majority of the songs are pretty good, so yeah, that's awesome. Number 10, Guitar Hero Van Halen. The third and final band-focused Guitar Hero game is centered on the fantastic 80s band Van Halen. Van Halen's music works perfectly with the Guitar Hero formula, as the majority of their songs are fun to play on all instruments. The inclusion of being able to play 3 of Eddie Van Halen's most famous solos were a great test of skill. And although I love David Lee Roth, it would have been nice to have some Van Halen songs sung by Sammy Hagar. Combine the fact that there are only 25 Van Halen tracks available and a large amount of unrelated music from random bands, and what you have is an underwhelming package. Number 9, Guitar Hero Aerosmith. The first band-focused Guitar Hero game revolves around Aerosmith, and I don't know about you guys, but when I think of famous guitar heroes, Joe Perry doesn't really come to mind. But regardless, Guitar Hero Aerosmith is a reskin of Guitar Hero 3 that chronicles the life of these bad boys from Boston, and I promise I didn't make that name up, that's just what many fans call them. Their songs were surprisingly a lot of fun to play, so yeah, this is a decent spin-off, but seriously, why did they choose Aerosmith? Number 8, Guitar Hero On Tour. When the original Guitar Hero for the DS was announced, I thought it was a prank from the developers, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that thought this. Guitar Hero Encore is a scaled-down version of Guitar Hero that can be played anywhere. It comes with a device called the Grip, a handheld device with 4 frets that you insert in the Game Boy slot of your DS. As a whole experience, while you can tell a lot of technical corners had to get cut to make this game work, Guitar Hero Encore was a ton of fun. However, if you have big hands, you're basically screwed. Number 7. Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock. Also known as the 6th main entry in the series, Warriors of Rock was the last Guitar Hero game before the series was temporarily killed off. As a whole, Warriors of Rock was a disjointed mess. The campaign was far too long, and there were many songs that were complete filler. But the weirdest thing about Warriors of Rock is how these classic Guitar Hero characters would turn into these monsters and have their own gameplay benefits. Having character-specific abilities in a Guitar Hero game is an unnecessary, messy addition to the gameplay. But Warriors of Rock shines bright for hardcore Guitar Hero fans as it contains some of the most difficult songs in the series. The amount of metal and complex songs turns Warriors of Rock into the hardest and most exciting Guitar Hero game for veterans of the series. Plus, there's a mini story mode that retells the story of Rush's 2112, and it is spectacular. Number 6. Guitar Hero World Tour. Otherwise known as Guitar Hero 4, World Tour was created as a response to Rock Band. This is the Guitar Hero game that introduced drums and vocals, and while it was a step in the right direction, in many regards, it was still behind Rock Band, and there were many problems with the game overall, although I will admit, the World Tour drums are some of the best feeling drums in both Guitar Hero and Rock Band's history. But the touch bar on the guitar was incredibly pointless, the usage of star power as a band was an absolute mess, the inclusion of the music studio is laughable, and the overall user interface wasn't that polished. Worst of all, World Tour has the worst note placement in the entire series. Seriously, there are many songs in which you're playing notes that literally don't exist in the actual song. But even with all the game's shortcomings, World Tour is an absolute love letter for hardcore fans of rock and metal, with one of my personal favorite set lists in a Guitar Hero game. Not only do we have Dream Theater, the Eagles, Metallica, and Jimi Hendrix, but many famous musicians came in to do motion capture for their own songs, like Sting, Ozzy Osbourne, Zakk Wylde, Travis Barker, Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins, and Hayley Williams from Paramore. But most importantly, Guitar Hero World Tour is one of the only things in history to have the license to Tool. They created a venue that is comprised of Tool's artwork for 3 of their songs. If that isn't a reason for you to go out there and buy World Tour, then that means that you haven't really listened to Tool before, and I politely ask that you check them out at the end of this video because they really are that awesome. Number 5. Guitar Hero Live. Currently the newest game of the series, Guitar Hero Live acts as a soft reboot of the franchise, and for what it tries to accomplish, Guitar Hero Live succeeds. Instead of the classic 5-color frets that we've been used to for a decade now, Live changes up the entire fretboard by having you play with 3 frets split up into 2 rows. While not as fun as the 5-colored frets, this change-up works up well and is a breath of fresh air for veteran Guitar Hero players like myself who wanted to learn something new. The game is also split up into 2 sections. There's Live Mode and TV Mode. Live Mode is the campaign that has you perform in first person to terrible songs. Live Mode as a whole is pretty terrible. On the contrary, Guitar Hero TV has you stream music with their music videos as you play live around the world with other people. If you haven't played this game already, it's worth buying just so you can play on TV Mode. While the game didn't take over the world like the first few entries did, it was an excellent way to bring back the series to those who missed it. Number 4. Guitar Hero Metallica. There is no band that is better suited for their own music game than Metallica. Their music is perfect for Guitar Hero's gameplay, from the rhythmically steady and infectiously fun guitar riffs to the addicting drum patterns and to the insane solos that'll strain the fingers and brains of even the most veteran fans of the series. While we all have our own personal favorite songs that will complain were not featured in the game, Guitar Hero Metallica's setlist is an excellent compilation of the band's best songs in their entire discography. The venues, menu screens, and in-game animations were all made in service to make a game that would make the band themselves proud. Guitar Hero Metallica is a tremendous gesture of fan service to the band's fans, and it's also a great game for anyone who isn't too familiar with Metallica's music. Guitar Hero is amazing, Metallica is amazing. Mix them together, and you get pure excellence. Number 3. Guitar Hero 5. As the direct sequel to World Tour, Guitar Hero 5 is exactly what World Tour should have been. From both the gameplay and technical standpoint, Guitar Hero 5 improves upon World Tour in every way. Guitar Hero 5 introduced Party Mode, where the game will go on forever without stopping. Players could drop in and drop out seamlessly mid-song without pausing the game for everyone. You can also have any combination of instruments play at the same time, which means, yes, you can have 4 drummers playing all at once. The UI is clean and intuitive, the campaign is one of the most enjoyable campaigns in the series, and the game is visually stunning. Guitar Hero 5's setlist is the most versatile selection of songs in the series, with music that ranges from Queens of the Stone Age, Beastie Boys, Johnny Cash, Nirvana, Elton John, Rush, Iron Maiden, and even A Perfect Circle. Guitar Hero 5 is a fantastic party game, and it is the best full band game in the entire series. Number 2 goes to Guitar Hero 2. While the original game may have started the revolution, Guitar Hero 2 was the game that made it spread like wildfire. The entire world had heard about Guitar Hero and were dying to get their hands on it, all because Harmonix pretty much perfected the formula on their second attempt. Guitar Hero 2 improves upon the original game in every single way. Guitar Hero 2's gameplay system was one that was begging to be mastered, and it started a whole phenomenon with both casual and hardcore gamers. Guitar Hero 2's setlist will always stand the test of time. While the majority of these songs are covers, they're amazing covers of incredible songs, from artists like Black Sabbath, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Van Halen, Cheap Trick, and many more. Because of the music and polished gameplay, Guitar Hero 2 is a landmark achievement in the video game industry that pleased people of literally all ages. It brought fans of music and fans of video games together. Guitar Hero 2 made one hell of an impact on the world, but there's one game that had an even bigger impact that is also the best in the series. Number 1. Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock. This is the game that consumed the entire world. At the time, everyone in the entire planet was playing Guitar Hero 3, and coincidentally, it is the best entry in the series. Guitar Hero 3's soundtrack is without a doubt the best soundtrack in any music game period. From classic songs like Slow Ride, Welcome to the Jungle, Painted Black, Bulls on Parade, Cult of Personality, and the now legendary Through the Fire and Flames, the music chosen for this game are some of the most fun songs you can ever imagine playing on guitar. Seriously, almost every song in the main set list is fantastic. This game created hundreds of thousands of rock fans, including myself, and that's all thanks to the terrific setlist and the addicting gameplay. I'd argue that Guitar Hero 3's gameplay system is the best in the series, in which the note placement is fantastic, and the feeling of nailing all the notes on screen is one of the most satisfying experiences you can have in a video game. While the visuals and the art style as a whole is arguably not as nice as Guitar Hero 2, it's the perfect gameplay, terrific setlist, and cultural impact that made Guitar Hero 3 the game that not only changed the industry, but changed many people's lives as well. So much so that at the time, Guitar Hero 3 was the best-selling game ever made. Due to the sum of its parts, not only is Guitar Hero 3 arguably the best in the series, but it's also one of the most important video games of its generation. So there you go, that was my list of every single Guitar Hero game from worst to best, although I will admit, you can't swap places with Guitar Hero 2 and 3, and the list would still be good. But that all depends on you. What do you think is the best Guitar Hero game? Just let me know in the comments below. If you're new to this channel and this is the first video you've seen of mine, subscribe to BathroomGamers so you can see more videos about music games in the future, and also because that would make me really happy if I saw an extra subscriber, and I'd probably cry in absolute joy. Also, if you guys want to see me do more videos about the Guitar Hero or Rock Band series, let me know in the comments and I may consider to make more. Thank you for watching, and stay fresh.